We competed our asses off, the entire night. We were down the whole game, battled back in the fourth. We showed grit, toughness. Just didn't go our way tonight.
And you played about 50 minutes. Just what has it been like building that trust with Coach Snyder that he's able to put you in those situations and give you so much responsibility?
I've known Q my second year with Q. I told him, if you need me out there, play the whole game if you need me to. I condition my body, train my mind, train to go whenever.
Hey. I remember seeing you in the Chino Hills videos. It's like, can you talk about your progression as a player from there to now playing 50 minutes in a big-time elimination game?
For me, it's always been about confidence. I've always had the tools, the gifts to, be the player I am today. Even going back to my Chino Hills days, just putting it all together. And, tonight I just left them all out there.
Trey was saying that no playoffs means he sees the season as a failure. How do you evaluate this season for you and the team?
It's tough. I feel like you've seen a lot of growth in, like Zachary throughout the whole year, me, Dyson, even Mo. I know we didn't go to the playoffs, but, to see those guys blossom into the players they are now, can't help but be proud of them. I'm so proud of these guys. They kept their heads up. They've shown their growth on the court. And even though we didn't go to the playoffs, I'm looking forward to seeing them grow more and blossom throughout the summer and being ready for next year. So, I know we didn't go to the playoffs, but I wouldn't call it a failure because I got to see the growth of the young dudes on the team.
Onyeka, you kind of just mentioned what I was about to ask you. How excited, even though it's a loss today, with the youth on this team and the growth that you can see, how excited are you for the future of the Atlanta Hawks?
For me, thinking about it, so it's only up from here. I just said the guys that we mentioned, and we get Jalen Johnson back next year. He's our, the star on this team. And just be ready. God willing, we're all healthy. Next season, we'll be ready to go from the start.
Onyeka, we've seen your game, go to the next level this season and blossom even more, consistently knocking down your three-point shot, being even more aggressive in the paint. Even though, obviously, this loss is still very, very fresh, when you start to look at the offseason and look at next year, what's the next level of your game look like to you at this moment?
I honestly think as a player I have it all. Definitely want to, perfect my shot more. Definitely want to handle the ball more. It's just, keeping the main thing, and just working on everything. Definitely want to work on my body, get stronger, more conditioned, and, be willing to be ready for the start of the next year. I'm healthy. I'm not rehabbing anything, so I'm excited for this offseason coming up.
We've talked about the progression of the young guys, but what about the progression of adding in some of those new guys like George and Karis and how they've been able to help you guys fight through some of this adversity?
George is a great vet, talking to all the young guys, being that loud dude in the locker room, just, being the vet for our team. Same with Karis. Hopefully we can get Karis to come back next year. We love playing with him. He's a great person. Same with T-Man. I'm excited. I'm happy that they're on the team, and I'm looking forward to playing with them more in the future.
Onyeka, you mentioned Q's trust in you. Just wondering also what it's been like for you working with Tony Lang and just how he's prepared you for being a starter and just throughout the season.
I love Tom. Me and him have a great relationship. He's really, him and Q have really gotten me to really trust in my three ball. Sometimes, I missed a few. I don't want to shoot no more, but they, not even them, the whole team keep telling me to shoot it. And over the last few months, I've, every time I shoot the ball, I feel like it's going in. Even tonight, it's the most threes I've ever shot in the game. It's just happy that they have confidence in me, and, hopefully I'm making them proud.